Coming up on AC 24/7, the White House announces they will continue to cooperate fully with special counsel as classified documents have been found in multiple locations. Plus, last year was a wild ride for the U.S. housing market, so what's in store for 2023? And Dolly Parton had something to sing about as she debuts new baking mixes with Duncan Hines. Hello and welcome to another edition of AC 24/7. I'm Lamont Baldwin. The White House counsel's office desperately trying to explain why the Biden White House has repeatedly given the American people incomplete information about President Biden's handling of classified documents. Both when he left office in 2017 and in the 6 years since then, White House lawyers are not ruling out a sit-down between the president and the Department of Justice. The Advocate Channel's Phil Mattingly reports.
President Biden again ignoring questions about the investigation into his handling of classified documents.
We have a couple of special guests.
As the head coach and star guard of the world champion Golden State Warriors made their appearance in the briefing room.
It's something that we don't ever take for granted.
For a White House scrambling to get its footing.
You guys can ask me this 100 times, 200 times if you wish. I'm going to keep saying the same thing.
A not so subtle effort to turn the page on a turbulent and perilous moment for Biden.
The president has confidence. They reached out to the archives. They reached out to the Department of Justice.
With sources saying Biden plans to stay focused on his schedule and agenda.
The president's going to stay laser focused on delivering for the American people.
And far away from any more public commentary like this amid an ongoing special counsel investigation.
By the way, my Corvette's in a locked garage, okay? So it's not like you're sitting out in the street.
The probe now in its early stages to pin down how roughly 20 documents with classified markings from Biden's time as vice president ended up in two separate locations, a Biden-affiliated think tank in Washington and Biden's family home in Wilmington, Delaware. White House officials pledging full cooperation with the early-stage special counsel investigation.
I'm here today to announce the appointment of Robert Hur as a special counsel.
But for a second day, slamming House Republicans, who have now launched two probes of their own. A White House spokesman on Monday saying the lawmakers have, quote, no credibility and are playing politics in a shamelessly hypocritical attempt to attack President Biden.
House Republicans lose credibility when they engage in fake outrage about an issue that they're clearly pursuing only for partisan gain.
Followed by a conference call Tuesday to level more attacks, but the messaging effort doing little to address critical questions.
With the appointment of a special counsel, we will continue to be limited in what we can share publicly.
With little detail on the more than 2-month period from the initial discovery of documents on November 2nd to the December 20th discovery of additional documents, to a third and fourth discovery of additional documents just last week. But as White House officials maintain the ongoing investigation will continue to limit their public answers.
I understand that there's a tension between protecting and safeguarding the integrity of an ongoing investigation with providing information publicly appropriate with that.
A clear public effort to draw attention elsewhere.
Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin is appealing his murder conviction in the death of George Floyd. His case is going before the Minnesota Court of Appeals. His attorneys have accused prosecutors of misconduct, and they're arguing that the case should not have been tried in Minneapolis, and the jury should have been fully sequestered. They also want the court to review whether the trial should have been delayed due to its high-profile nature. Chauvin was sentenced to 22.5 years in prison after the video showed him kneeling on Floyd's neck and back for more than 9 minutes. Floyd's death led to protests around the world. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is proposing a policy to permanently ban COVID-19 pandemic mitigation measures in his state. His popularity among the GOP surged during the COVID-19 pandemic as he chartered a response in Florida that rejected lockdown restrictions and vaccine mandates. Under the proposal, those COVID-19 passports will be banned in Florida permanently. Look. The proposal would also ban mask requirements in Florida schools, and businesses and employers will not be allowed to hire or fire based on vaccine status. A new study suggests young COVID-19 patients who have another respiratory virus at the same time end up with more severe illness. Researchers looked at data on more than 4,300 children who were hospitalized due to coronavirus. They say more than 20% also tested positive for another respiratory virus. According to the study, the patients who were younger than 5 tended to become sicker. They were more likely to need increased oxygen support and to be admitted to the intensive care unit. The journal Pediatrics published the study.
They sought to marginalize people who declined COVID jabs by using things like vaccine passports. They sought to prevent people from being able to earn a living if they declined the jab through the Biden employer mandate. They sought to deny children an education if their parents did not want their kids to get mRNA shots. They sought to discriminate against Americans based on vax status by treating them different in their own workplaces. They sought to impose masking requirements on everyone from spectators at sporting events to young school children. And they sought to silence medical practitioners who followed the evidence and backed the science over the narrative.
Last year was a wild ride for the U.S. housing market. So what's in store for 2023? Economist and the CEO of the largest mortgage lending company in the U.S. weigh in on what we could expect this year. The Advocate Channel's Cole Higgins has a look.
When it comes to the housing market, are we in for another roller coaster ride in 2023?
Next 12, 18, 24 months in housing is going to be difficult.
Last year, mortgage rates doubled, sales plummeted, and many would-be buyers and sellers were sidelined. In recent months, home prices have cooled off from their blockbuster gains from spring 2020 to the spring of 2022, when home prices rose nearly 40%.
House prices rose very strongly during much of the pandemic, and we're just retracing some of those price gains.
Economist Mark Zandi says the direction of the market this year will be determined by the inventory, the broader economy, and mortgage rates. According to Freddie Mac, the 30-year fixed-rate mortgage averaged 6.33% in the week ending January 12th. That's down from 7.08% last fall, but well above 3.45% from a year ago. The CEO of Rocket Mortgage says relatively high mortgage rates have caused homeowners to reconsider selling their homes, and that's leading to higher competition for those fewer homes on the market.
But we're not seeing, 15 offers on one home at this point in time. We're starting to see prices come down a little bit in certain markets.
So when would be a good time to buy a home this year? Experts say avoid the spring selling season when homes tend to sell for a seasonal premium when buyers are committed to getting it done. And if you're waiting for prices to get back down, some experts say you could be left holding your breath.
I wouldn't say it's necessarily a buyer's market yet. What I would say is it's a pretty even market between buyer and seller.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Cole Higgins.
Microsoft is laying off 10,000 workers. That's according to a recent security fling. The company says it's cutting costs in response to looming recession fears and changing customer priorities. And a memo staffer's Microsoft CEO said the job cuts represent less than 5% of the company's total workforce. Amazon, Salesforce, and Facebook parent company Meta have recently announced layoffs. Dolly Parton is a beloved member of the Country Music Hall of Fame and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And now she's cooking up something new. Parton has partnered with Duncan Hines to release some fun new baking mixes. They include 2 brownie flavors, caramel turtle, fabulously fudgy, plus a buttermilk biscuit and sweet cornbread mix. These add to the line of her cake mixes and frostings debuted by Duncan Hines last year. Parton says she's excited about the collaboration because baking is, quote, steeped in her southern roots. Thanks for joining us for another edition of AC 24/7. For more content that advocates for you, go to theadvocatechannel.com and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. For the Advocate Channel, I'm Lamar Baldwin.